You are watching Around the Base Sports. Leave a like and subscribe. Make sure to follow us on our Instagram page by searching Around the Base Sports, all lowercase. And here are your hosts.
I'm Drew.
I'm Jack.
I'm Noel.
And this is
Around.
The
Hey,
Boards.
that's
Thanks for joining us. How's everyone feeling today?
feeling good.
great.
Very great.
We got topics, folks. It's been crazy in the MLB. We got some NBA news to share as well. NFL is a little cold right now, but unless something comes up, we will definitely react. But yeah, we got. Let's get right to it. Our first topic. Wow, the West is wild. In case people didn't know, on Tuesday, we saw something that has not been done in 99 years. And that was Patrick Bailey, I believe, hit a 3-run homer inside the park in front of 40,000 fans. And yeah, it's been crazy since that ignited the whole San Francisco fan base like it's a playoff or winning the pennant even if you go that far.
I mean, not just inside the park. It was bottom of the ninth,
Yeah,
game winning, inside the park home run, standing up. He didn't even have to slide.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
it's crazy.
And I
But
think
yeah,
you and Drew were at the game.
Me,
And, I was seeing you guys on TV. That's all I know. Unbelievable.
Wow.
I got to say, once in a lifetime, huh? Once in a lifetime.
once in a lifetime will be in the storybooks as a Giants fan and maybe then will be history. But yeah, so we're starting with that topic. What are you guys' reactions?
come on, music.
Oh,
Kind of like the beat.
apologize
There we
for
go.
that.
There you go.
The music, I just felt like adding that.
Good job. I actually like that, actually.
Anyway, yeah, back to it. So what are you guys' reactions? We'll go with Jack. Since you didn't see it, but I bet you saw it on TV.
Well, I mean, the second I saw that the score was like 3-1, I mean, I didn't really think too much of it. Then all of a sudden, I see on the phone like, "Oh, the Giants won." I'm like, "Oh, okay, something must have happened. Must have been a game-winning hit or a game-winning home run." Then I go and see a replay. I'm like, "Oh, wow, that was an inside the park home run." And a catcher hasn't done an inside the park home run since 1926, and that guy played for the Washington Senators. And the last Giants player to do that was, I believe, Angel Pagan in 2013. And I remember every single thing that happened that day. But yeah, it's great by Patrick Bailey, and Giants are finally starting to get back on track in spite of them getting blown out today. But it's good to see that things are on the uprising for the San Francisco Giants.
Oh, before we resume, I forgot to mention. So, I'm Amon, and for Jesse. He's all right. He got to deal with some doctor's appointments, but nothing to be concerned about. He will be back next stream.
Great.
But let's give a round of applause to our substitute Noel.
Hey, thank you.
There we go. So Noel, what do you
Glad
think? No, what do you think?
Oh man.
Something. I mean,
So I was watching live when it happened. I know viewers out on the East Coast probably were in bed and all that, as they would be. But it's one of those things where Schwarber hit that homer. Was it in the 7th?
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden, Giants are behind by a couple runs, and we get through a couple innings, and then nothing happened. And you get to the bottom of the ninth. I said, but I can't count out these Giants because they just seem to have a way to make things happen, right? And you got a couple on, right? You got a couple. I think we got. I mean, there was one out, right? But we got a couple on first and third, and Bailey hit that ball, and I'm like, oh my God, walk off homer. Giants do it again. But anywhere else in the park that was a walk-off homer, but it goes in center field on that wall where it's just higher and it just hits the rim of it. And I thought it might have actually been out when it hit, but then I saw it hit past the center fielder, past the left fielder. Left fielder's chasing it back towards the left field corner. At that point, that ball had been in the air and bouncing around so long, Bailey had time to get pretty much all the way to third base, and he was trucking, right? And I couldn't believe it when they brought the throw home. He was already there. It was unbelievable. I haven't seen anything like that in so long, And it makes me, it actually, when I was watching it, it made me think of like great, like football Hail Marys, because there's like few plays like a football Hail Mary, right? Especially at the end of a game. Doug Flutie, 84. Cordell Stewart for Colorado against Michigan, 94. We saw Jaden Daniels do it last year against the Bears. Incredible. That was like a 70-yard in the air throw. Those things, move your heart. Of course, 1982, go Bears, right? The play, that's probably the greatest all time. But anyway, going back to I was just pointing that out to illustrate how it makes you feel. I had to wake up this morning and rewatch the whole thing because that was once in a lifetime. And I'm just so stoked that Amon and Drew, you were actually at that game. And by the way, you were sitting in great seats because, like I said, I could see every time a right-handed batter came up. I was looking at the TV. I could see you guys a few rows up behind the dugout there. So I thought, wow, what an experience that must have been. So I would love to hear how you guys felt about that being.
Yeah, since you mentioned the seats, I want to say thank you to Barry for inviting Drew and I. Those were awesome seats. So hopefully we can snag those seats out later down the season. Drew, we were there. For you've been a fan for practically most of your life as a Giants, and I feel like, have you seen anything like that before?
No, actually, not in person, but like I seen on TV I saw the Pagan, inside a home run. Then I think during the early stage of the season, Heliot Ramos did like he wasn't even trying to do it, and I didn't see that wasn't even inside of home run. It just the pitcher just threw a bad pitch, and then it went over to third base and overthrew it, and then he slid home. But dude, that game was insane. Like Amon said, shout out to Barry and her daughter Jane for giving me and Amon the seats. And then obviously Jesse was also at the game too. So just the fact that the three of us of the podcast crew got the win is probably, Amon, this is probably the best game we ever seen.
I mean, yeah, because
that like inside of Park Run is like a once in a lifetime thing, like all the games Amon, Jesse, and I have gone to, like most of them have been a walk off. I mean, except when I'm not playing the Brewers, obviously, but most of the games we've been to was a walk off. I mean, it's just insane. But I mean, that's gotta be the number one game for me to watch. I mean, it's just insane that we did it in the bottom ninth. Pitch black. Everyone was standing up. Like no one was sitting down. Like. Felt like a playoff game, I mean, like obviously it's amazing, like even though we lost 30-0 today, but I don't care about that today. But I care about
that was a hangover from that. I mean, those guys were up late. You guys were up late last night. I mean, you can't even, the fact that they even had to play today is incredible. I mean, the way that thing ended, just unbelievable.
And then they're doing the City Connect jersey, which is like one of Amon and I were talking during the bar right through the game, like. They always lose in that jersey, but somehow, they always lose in that jersey. And then somehow yesterday, they did something positive for us, which is nothing that we never thought of. So that's going to be the number one game of all time. So that nothing can – if I go a nice game, nothing cannot beat last night for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like, sure, in Giants history, there was probably something even way crazier than that. But just for this MLB century alone, is like something you do not see at all.
Yeah, especially after.
Yeah, Amon and I were super hype after that thing happened, and like we were just running around the whole
Like, it took me half a sec. I'm like, wait, why is he running so fast? I'm like, doing it all on the ninth, 2-3 rounds. Like, oh shoot, this is it. This is the end. Anyways, keeping on with this topic, you mentioned about the Brewers. The Brewers are adding more pain to the Dodgers. Dodgers have now lost 6 losses in a row. Ohtani, I'm not sure he was pitching in any of those games, but I know we're Giants fans. While we're talking about the Dodgers, it's a topic. It's a good topic to discuss just for the MLB since they're 5 games ahead so far, and the way they're struggling, the Giants, the Padres, we're all racing for the top. So yeah, Drew, going back to you, what do you think what's going on with the Dodgers?
Dude, it is. You never seen a team like the Dodgers struggle 6 games in a row. Like the game against the Astros on 4th of July, they lost 18-1, which is insane. You know, and that's like the largest like run difference in Dodgers same history. You know, like you never expect that type of game. You know, like you usually think the Dodgers are like a World Series contender. You know, like that's a team that always are favored to win the World Series every single year. You know, like and they always win our division, which is probably one of the toughest division in MLB history. You know, like it's kind of hard. And then I mean, you know, Padres they're like a wild horse. Like they can get hot any time during the stretch. We saw that last year. I mean, Padres they almost beat the Dodgers in the NLDS last year. I mean, like that's they like the NL West can have contenders that can be a wild horse for the wild card and going on in the playoffs. You know, like they show that it can be the most competitive.
We could also probably maybe at least get to that level. I
Yeah.
know we're approaching the midseason, but I say it's wild in the West.
I mean, it might come down to those 3 teams in the end of September, beginning of October. You know, like any of those 3 can win our division. You know, it's tough. You know, obviously the Giants are playing the Dodgers this next series, so that's important for the Dodgers, important for the Giants to catch up to the Dodgers. If they win, they sweep them. They'll only be 2 games behind them. You know.
No, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's tough. You know, it's like you feel like you have a division winner and 2 wild cards right there, but they're going to beat up on each other. So you feel like somebody's going to get left out. And it's a matter of who's healthy and playing the right way. I mean, it feels like the Giants, they had a couple of health problems. But they're obviously on a run now, not counting today, which is a special day just because of what happened last night. But you feel like the Giants are going to have their run. The Dodgers are down now, but there's still a lot of baseball to play. And I think, like Drew said, the Padres, they can get hot, and you never know. So it's just going to be tough in this division. You just got to be playing well towards the end, and then hope there's a couple stumbles in some of the other divisions so you can get in there and then make magic happen. Because the Dodgers are obviously beatable, and they will be all the way through the playoffs. Everybody expects them to be the division winner, but like last night, I can never count those Giants out. I just amazing team. So it's going to come to me. It's going to come down to the last day of the season. Really, with the Giants, they'll probably find a way to get it on the last day just to make it fun for all of us. So I don't know what you guys think, but man, it's something else. Fun to watch.
Yeah.
Jack, what's your input in all this? Jack?
Is that Jack you're talking to?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack.
Sorry, I thought you were still talking to Well, for me, I believe that the Giants can beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers are not invincible. I don't care who they got on their team. Giants are starting to get it together near the end of the break, which is huge. The Dodgers are starting to fall off a little bit. They lost they lost today to the Brewers, and they got swept by the Brewers. And before that was the Astros they got swept by. So things are starting to look up with the Giants. They got to shake this loss off and focus on the Dodgers. This will be a very big series for them because if you can at least win 2 or 3 or sweep them, you'll get closer and closer to that first spot instead of just getting the wild card. So, and you also got to focus on the Padres because the Padres are like right behind them too. though they're losing right now 1-0 against the Diamondbacks. It's top of the fourth inning right now. But I believe that the Giants can get it done. They just gotta stay positive, have a good mindset, and Dodgers. Because I've played baseball too. I played baseball too, and excuse me. And sometimes if you can't get out of struggle, it sometimes really gets you mentally. This is definitely a mental sport, and the better you think, the better the outcome. The worse you think, the more you turn to how the Dodgers are turning into right now.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, those Diamondbacks, they're not actually that far behind. They're just because we got these other three teams in the mix, they're kind of not in the conversation. But if if we or the Padres or the Dodgers falter, the Diamondbacks could just move up, play spoiler because they're not doing bad overall. They're just in a tough division. So like you were saying, crazy division. Really good baseball being played there, beating up on a lot of their teams. Let's just see. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it after this All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as you heard from Jack, stay cool, calm, and collected. Posey, if you have any trades, do it. If not, you see how this team, the chemistry is rolling. But yeah, Giants keep on going and beat those Dodgers.
Yeah, the trade deadline end of the month.
That's true.
Let's get to our next topic. As I mentioned, the NBA. There's some extensions that have happened at this following month. We got Chet Holmgren getting his max rookie. Devin Booker, who just got paid, and there's a little Jokic is on hold a little bit with his money. But yeah, let's start with Chet. He just gets his rookie extension. Jack, we probably know this is a great move, but do you feel like overall throughout the season, should he just maybe stay as a Thunder forever?
Well, he's very young. But I mean, I think he deserves all this money. He's a great basketball player for the Thunder. He's one of the key reasons why they won the championship, and he's one of the rising stars in the NBA that could be very big impact more in the future. I've heard of comparisons of like a young KD. I know that's still kind of early to say. It's a little early to say that, but you remind me has like the same body texture and similar offense ish, but. And also because he plays for OKC, but Holmgren's only 23 years old. He still has a very long career. Will he stay as a member of OKC for his entire career? I'm not honestly sure at the moment because he's very young, but maybe he goes somewhere else. Maybe he'll get paid more, but for now, he deserves every penny of this, and he's going to be great in the future of the NBA.
What's your input?
Yeah, Chet Holmgren, he was a number 2 pick in 2022 draft, only behind Paulo. Obviously he's like Jack mentioned, he's he's one of the key reasons why the Thunder won the championship this year. Chet Holmgren shows that he can dominate both sides of the ball. He can score a bucket and then defend the rim. Like obviously, that's the same age Gale. Like we don't like him because he's got Gonzaga products, but like you gotta give him props. But like I have to give him props because he's in the league and it makes our league a much better environment. And he deserves money, obviously. I don't know. I'm not sure about spending like his career, like Curry or like Steph Curry when he's with the Warriors. But I don't know. Like Jack said, he's only 23 years old. He still have room to grow as a player. But he's gonna be one. He's gonna be one of few rising stars in the game. So one of young stars in the game. So he deserves all the penny for sure.
No.
I mean, look, OKC won the title. I mean, NBA. You can ask a lot of players. I'm sure. Not only are titles hard to come by, playoff series wins are hard to come by. I mean, look at Tracy McGrady, right? Like it just look at Chet at the stage in his career. He's an NBA champion. Amazing. The story here for me really is about OKC and to some degree the Rockets, although they ran into the Warriors while Steph Curry was still healthy, and that was their problem. But the story here to me was teams that made a decision several years back to give up big money players, big money talent to get draft picks and build this rebuild concept. A lot of people were skeptical of that. A lot of people think, oh, you got to go out on the free agent market and get an established star. These teams unloaded and built from the ground up. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but they built from the ground up, and OKC's sitting on a title. Yeah, they went and got SGA, but that was before he was even an all-star, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he was on the Clippers. He was a great player with a lot of all-stars on that team. But look, they had a championship team. They want to keep that. That's the challenge now. Okay, they proved that you can build a team from the ground up, but can you keep that at that level? Now that
because usually
they're going to try to restore that one of those pieces right now.
Usually when cores develop, I know I guess going to Warriors. I mean, because think of the Warriors. They had Curry, Clay, Draymond. Clay left. Clay left, and look what the Warriors are at now, trying to find that core, at least replacing Clay. You can't really replace him because he did so much for the team. But yeah, it's just, as you said, it's like, can they keep it together? We'll find out. On to our next extension. Devin Booker just got paid 2 years, $54 million. It's only on the short-term end. So what's the question? What's the speculation with the Suns? They succeeded in the draft quite well, made some moves. They're looking promising, but I just feel like should Booker got paid a little bit more, a little longer, or what do you think, Drew?
Well, before the signing happened, he was one of the topics that he should be trading because obviously Kevin Durant was the topic after the Kevin Durant trade was will Denver get trading because all the speculation is going on with the Suns organization. People are talking about Bradley Beal. He should waive his no trade clause. I mean, it's it sucks for the Suns to have to deal with the money they have to pay him, which is probably over $50 million a year for Bradley Beal. They don't want him out. But Devin Booker, he's a true loyal to that organization. He chose that. He didn't do the super. I mean, I want to say that, but he stayed loyal when they were bad. Bad when the Sun was bad when he was first on the team, and there's even though last year didn't make the playoffs, but I feel like this year it's definitely I can see a improvement from this year's team compared to last year. But yeah, I think Devin Booker is just a loyal person overall.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good one, right? Because then it gets back to that whole rebuild thing. At this point, maybe you cash him in and try to just start over here, right? But I gotta say, this guy is a player that you want to anchor your team around. I mean, he just has that feel. He's that kind of personality. Look, this is around the base sports, so we really can't throw around comparing anybody to Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that. That. What I'm going to say is that Devin Booker is that kind of character guy who's a great NBA player and has proven it over many years. And by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's on the court most of the time because there's a lot of players who get injured and they're great players, and then we're not, Kawhi Leonard, where are you? So I just feel like he's a guy you can continue to build around and sustain you. And if it's only for a couple of years, that's the time frame we're looking at with the Suns and him, right? Because if they can't make it work with Devin Booker, I feel like they are just going to start over again. And it's a shame, right? They got close, but those Milwaukee Bucks got them. That was just a tough matchup for them. But look, I think the Suns are doing what they need to do, and that's the right move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll take a little debate on that if you think that the Suns need to do a complete rebuild here.
So, Jack, what do you think on that question and just the topic overall?
Devin Booker, he's a he's a good player for the Suns. He's one of the better players in the Suns' history. But it's like, yeah, great, but then who else do you got? I mean, KD's gone to Houston. Besides, you got Bradley Beal. Like, this is great for Devin Booker personally, but it's not good. Honestly, in my kind of hot take personal opinion, I think he shouldn't have signed that contract. I think he should have either waited until his contract expires and sign with a new team. That way he could get a better chance at winning a final somewhere else. But I think Devin Booker is a good player. I just don't like where he's playing personally. So,
I mean,
it's not really him, but I mean, if this is going to be a little biased because since we are around the big sports, you want to join the Dubs with the Warriors, I'd love that. But
wouldn't that be great? Another scorer. We need a scorer. Look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I got this thing all wrong. Maybe they're trying to sign him, and then they're gonna work around the league and see if they can offload that contract and then put some other pieces in place. But like I said, he just seems like such a character guy, a guy that you want on your team, aside from being a scorer, great player, competitor. But let's see. Yeah, if somebody else wants to pay, give up a lot to get him. There's some teams that are probably just on that cusp of being in position to make a run in the playoffs that could use a player like him, like the Warriors.
Yeah, but like, thing is though, for the Suns, like, yes, they did get Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks in that trade. You do have Bradley Beal, who I think he can be a nice veteran like addition, but he's not the man that he used to be. And then the trade with Mark Williams, maybe he can be pretty decent for them also, but I just don't think with that kind of roster you're going deep in the playoffs, personally.
Yeah, so there you are, folks. Those are our takes for that. We'll see what the Suns do. Now on to our last extension. Well, you can't really say extension because he's on hold. And that is Jokic. Not getting paid. The man just gave Denver a title, which hasn't done in many years, or at least fight for a championship. So, are we expecting another core to be separated? No.
Yeah, great question. It's a tough one, right? Because with all the distress in the organization, with the team during the year and the coach, and Jokic was a big part of that upheaval, I think. I think he needs to get comfortable around where this team's going with him again as the anchor. That's not really in question as long as he's on the team. He's going to be the anchor. He's going to be the one, aside from other great players that are on that team. He's going to be pulling this thing along. So he's got to get comfortable around that. And if he's not, and we kind of know his personality there, he's not going to be that cheerleader out front. He's going to be doing his best trying to win games, but he needs to be comfortable with that all the pieces around him are with him and moving in the right direction. And I don't know that he has that comfort yet just because they fired their coach and replaced him. Let's just wait and see. And I think that's probably what he's up to, because as we all know, if he gets too uncomfortable with all this, he could just retire and go back to his homeland and be happy, riding horses and all that stuff. So I don't think he has to be doing this. He's a different type of player, right? I'm not a criticism of him, but he's not a Steph Curry or Devin Booker for sure.
Jack, what's your quick take on this? What can you sum up?
Honestly, I think it's a smart idea. For the Nuggets, they got Jamal Murray, who's pretty good, but I mean, he's starting to kind of fall off a little bit, but he's still got time. You just traded away Michael Porter Jr. and you got Cam Johnson, I believe it is, from Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, right.
But I think this is a very smart move by Jokic, because if he does it now, and then he still has that contract, and the team could either not be good or could be inconsistent. He could request a trade. So this is the right idea. You do have Aaron Gordon, who's who's playing very well as of lately in the recent years. But Jokic could possibly be a free agent when the time comes, and he could sign with another team that he'd feel better signing with. Again, biased join the Warriors, but because that would be the big man to solve all the Warriors' problems throughout the years, because that's the one thing the Warriors needed. So this is the right move by Jokic, personally, that I believe in.
Sure. Just hearing Nolan Jack's takes, what's your sum up version of this?
I think it's the right move for Jokic. You know, he could, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he likes it. Maybe he wants Denver to build more pieces around Jokic so he can feel more comfortable with the current roster that's going to be happening this upcoming year. And you know, he obviously, like Noel said, you know, he can just enjoy seeing his horses win. You know, trying to be an owner of a horse. You know, but I think he just wants he just wants how next season feels as of right now, because we don't know what's going to happen after next season. But that's what Jokic wants to do, is figure out what he can do after next season. If he wants to sign next year, do it. But, you know, he's all he cares about is being committed to the team.
All right, trying to speed things along a little bit here. We're going to enter a new topic of sports. That is soccer, in case you didn't know. The Gold Cup finished. Gold Cup finished last week. And unfortunately, the finals was the good old US of A against Mexico. And in case you guys didn't know, they've been battling for decades at this point. And unfortunately, Mexico won. And all I have to ask, do we just got robbed, Jack?
Well, I didn't watch the full game, but I did watch the highlights. And there was a clear point in the game. I don't remember which minute it was during the Gold Cup game, but there was a clear handball. I don't know if the refs need a pair of glasses to see what they missed, because it was a complete missed call. But also USA was struggling a bit at the same time. I mean, they did score the first goal in like the 4th minute, but USA has got some work to do before the World Cup comes around, because if they play like this, they're going to be a quick elimination in the World Cup. And losing to Mexico, the country that's underneath us, it's a bad loss, but you got to get them on the next one, though. That's the important thing. But USA, honestly, in my opinion, if they called a handball, maybe they would have missed a goal. Maybe I don't remember how the rules work. I haven't played soccer in years. I believe it's like a handball, you get a penalty kick.
Yep.
But if it comes to that, maybe USA would have scored the goal. Maybe it would have gone to PKs, like past regulation. I have no clue. But USA did get robbed from a chance at winning the Gold Cup.
Look, I'm just going to jump in here.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, fine. We got robbed. I didn't want to see that game hinge on that call, because then whatever if it was a tie or a win for US, the Mexican fans would have had a field day saying why USA didn't win that fairly, that it was fixed, that it was rigged, all this stuff. So let that go. To me, look, we were playing with, this was a kind of our B-ish team, right? Like some of those guys are going to be in the World Cup roster in the game, but Pulisic wasn't there, McKinney, Robinson, Dest. So we didn't have all the pieces there that we're going to have next year on the field. And look, Mexico, until that game, hadn't beat us in 6 years. I'll say it again, 6 years. Yeah, there's some ties, but they haven't beat us in 6 years. Okay? So we're a better team. That's why we're ranked higher. We have better players on paper. And on paper, even though that was kind of not our top, that wasn't our first string team all the way around the field, I kind of feel like there was still something that the U.S. needed, which I didn't see, and that was the hustle, right? Mexico, as a team, as a unit, slow. They don't have on-field speed. USA, 2 things they have: fitness and speed. I didn't see it. We were just too slow to the ball. We weren't engaging once you got after, like, to say, the first third of the game. we just weren't engaging. So I wanted to see that because without those key players in place that we're going to see on the World Cup roster, I still want to see the players that are on the field playing U.S. soccer, the brand that Landon Donovan built, where he could run end to end to end, right? And that at least could get you something, if not a win every time deep into a tournament. But it could get you a lot. So I'm disappointed in the way we played, but I'm not entirely disappointed in the result because the Mexicans can't complain because they won. They had their best team. That's their A team. That's the team you're going to see on the field if they're all healthy next year. That's not our A team. Okay, so I'm looking forward to the World Cup now but I got to see that coach. He's got to pull that team together, man. They've got to fight, man. They got to have more fight than I saw there. Okay, I was okay with the loss. I'm just not okay with the level of fight and hustling around because those guys were slow, man. They should have been able to. They were getting taken on one-on-one, and they shouldn't have been allowing that. That's just not the way we play.
Well, Drew, you ran the USA shirt. I'm assuming you saw it. What's your sum up version?
This is a USA basketball shirt, Curry, for signing the French people. But yeah, some stats that obviously USA didn't have their main player, obviously Pulisic and McKinney. Didn't have all the best players on paper, but Mexico didn't play as well that we used to. But Mexico controlled 66% of the possession they received. Like Noel said, they had the fitness and speed, and I don't know why they didn't chase after speed, like chase all those Mexican players, even though they're playing slow as crap. Like it could have been, obviously, everyone wants to talk about the handball thing. Like, yeah, I mean that could have gone to extra times or or PK, but like, I mean, obviously, we didn't have our best player, as I said in the previous minute, and obviously, once the World Cup comes, like Jack said, if we play that type of play in the World Cup, we're definitely not gonna make the sweet, like the round of 16. Like we're not gonna have a deep run in the World Cup. And
no, we're gonna lose to Iran or Kuwait. With that type of play, right? We definitely have to play at a higher level. So I don't know what to attribute that to, except the coach, right? I mean, because that's what he gets paid to do, is motivate that team.
Yeah, Noel mentioned they didn't have the competitive fire they had in the U.S. Obviously, the U.S. scored the first goal in like 4 minutes, and we did not see that after the 4-minute mark. Honestly, yeah, but like if they want to make the deep run in the World Cup, they gotta have the competitive fire that Pulisic and McKinney brings every single time. So, and the chemistry, obviously, that's gotta be a question too. But I'm not mad at the results though.
Yeah, and it was good. It was good. The coach got a chance to look at other players, right? Because the guys who weren't there that are going to be on that team, he didn't really need to look at them. So it gives him a chance to look at other players in that type of an environment, because that Mexico game in Houston was packed, exciting environment. That's what you're going to see in the World Cup. I know the U.S. plays a lot of games that aren't in front of huge crowds, and so a lot of those guys don't get that type of environment. So I feel like there was a lot of good things to take away. I'm just disappointed in what I was seeing in terms of aggressiveness, because we had a faster team on the field than those other dudes on the other side. So there's no reason we shouldn't have been beating them to the ball, and we weren't as the game wore on.
Honestly, for this game, it should have been worse than it should have been, because the stats say a completely different thing. 8 shots on goal for Mexico versus 3 falling for the U.S. Shot attempts 16 for Mexico, only 6 for the U.S. USA fouled more times. USA has 1 yellow card versus Mexico's 2. And 12 corner kicks for Mexico versus USA's 0. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say they didn't put any effort into this, but this says otherwise. I've played soccer. I was a goalie most of the time. So my dad always coached me every single time I played soccer. So I know how it goes. They've got to be better than this in the World Cup. The World Cup, could be a much worse score. They honestly probably should have lost this game 4-1, at least.
Could have happened, yeah.
2-1 is just lucky. They got to be better at this. You're going to lose to some like mid-country like Saudi Arabia or Haiti or one of those countries. Like you cannot play like this ever again. You got to be better. I know you didn't have your key guys, but you still got to fill the gap for those guys.
Yeah.
Well, to sum up my take, don't sub too late. Keep the core in, and you know what? After even all the talks we've had, the future is still bright because there's some players that haven't even probably touched the ball on that type of level, and now hopefully with this learning experience they can carry on. All right, let's keep on going here. And anyway, for people that are watching, you have a quick Q&A, go for it. But if not, we're going to move on. To keep with the soccer topic, so with the Gold Club concluding, what's been happening is the FIFA Club World Tournament, you could say. And we finally got our match. It's Chelsea against PSG. PSG, they're like the Titans of soccer because they did win one of the biggest tournaments in like Europe.
Champions League. Yep.
Champions League.
So I just want to hear guys' quick take. Who you got? Yeah, let's just say that. Who you got? What's your prediction?
It's got to be PSG. I mean, they won the Champions League. They just ran over Real Madrid today. They just look like they've got all the pieces. I don't know if you guys saw the game where they played Lionel Messi and Miami FC, but that was a highly anticipated matchup. But PSG was all over Miami the whole time, and like they literally couldn't even keep the ball. You know, you talk about possessing the ball. They couldn't even keep the ball back. Like they couldn't kick it around in the back. Like the goalie was under pressure, you know, when he was trying to handle the ball. PSG was all over the field. So they are an incredible team. What do they have? 3 goals in 9 minutes today. Like, I just don't see how Chelsea is going to be able to weather this storm. You know, obviously a great team. They did a lot to get where they are, getting to the final of the FIFA Club World Cup. It's impressive. And on paper, again, exciting matchup, Chelsea, PSG, but you got to think PSG at least 3-0.
And Drew or Jack, just hop on in. What do you got? What's your predictions?
Yeah, like Noel said, they beat Madrid, which is on paper. They seem more talented than PSG. You know, they have Mbappe. You know, he's like one of the greatest players in the sport. You know, obviously, they scored 3 goals in like the first 3 goals in 24 minutes, which is kind of hard to stop. You know, like I don't see how Chelsea can weather the storm. Like, even though they played Bayern Munich in their match.
Heck of a game.
Huh?
Heck of a game.
Yeah, a heck of a game too. Yeah, but like on paper, like PSG has more impressive. They had a stunning loss in the beginning of FIFA World Cup. I can't remember who they lost to, but like I feel like they just kind of like under overcome adversity. They came after that loss. Like they kind of took out motivation. But I think so I like North's position 3-0. PSG over Chelsea.
Yeah. And I want to get Jack's take, but I just want to say one thing. This has been a great. We're hosting the World Cup along with Mexico and Canada next summer, which is a big deal for any country or 3 countries to be able to do. This summer to be able to have the Gold Cup, which obviously we've had that here before, but now to have running side by side with this FIFA Club World Cup, which has turned out to be a really exciting tournament. I've loved watching because, hey, it's in our time zone, so I can actually watch it. I'm not up in the middle of the night or trying to, record it. I can actually watch it. It's been great. I think it's been great. A lot of times we see a lot of these European clubs come over here and play in the summer, but it's more in a friendly environment, kind of exhibition stuff. This is actually live action, live fire action. It's been great. So I just want to say, this has been great for soccer in our country. a great preview to the World Cup with the excitement all around it. Stadium's full. How about the Brazilian teams? They came to play and they brought fans, right? They brought fans like, what was it? Yesterday, one of the Brazilian teams was playing, and it was like New York Giants Stadium was full of their fans singing their songs and doing everything. So I just was super stoked to see all that. But anyway, I'd love to hear what Jack has to say about this game coming up on Sunday, which definitely going to tune into.
Jack, where's yours?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really been paying too much attention to the Club World Cup. I know it's between Chelsea and PSG. These two teams haven't played each other so often. According to the stats here, last time these two teams played against each other was in the Champions League of 2016. And for the past 5 times they have played against each other, not one team has scored more than 2 goals. Only every single time it's 2-1, 2-1, 1-1, 2-2, 1-1. So this is going to be a very close game because they got a very close history against each other. So I don't think, maybe it turns out to be completely different here. I think PSG is going to win based on the guys that they have. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I still think it's going to be a very close game because this is a championship after all. So you never want to be the other team and go get blown out. That just doesn't happen in championships that often. But so I think PSG is going to win it. It's going to be a great game. I'll be all tuned in for it. And honestly, I got a prediction of the game being like 3-2, something like that.
Yeah, it could be as close as it is, and that game will happen on TBS. I think at 6 or something. That might be. But yeah, let's get on to our. So that's it for soccer, but we're going to take a little into the virtual video game world. And today, and for people who don't know, NBA 2K has made their athletes. And in case you people didn't know, 2K has been going around for 25 years.
Wow.
It hasn't been since 98 was when it started to begin. And once every year they've been changing with different athletes. And today, for this coming up 2K coming out in the fall, we got our prospects, I guess you could say. We got SGA, of course, winning the title. He's on the regular cover. We got good old Carmelo Anthony, Melo, getting on the special cover of it. And, well, yeah. All right, we're going to our first comment from Pep Boy. It's 1998. 2K has been rolling for a long time than you think.
But it makes you guys feel old, right?
Yeah, it does.
I know talking to me makes you feel old, but that might also make you feel
old. But yeah, and then here's the new surprise, because the WNBA has been getting a lot of eyes on, and for the first time for this 2K history, they're adding a WNBA player, and that is Angel Reese. People say she could be the Shaq of the WNBA, the attitude of Draymond. But yeah, what I know for Noel, I know this might not be in your category, but what do you think of just overall, of just even about that? 2K been going on since 98.
Well, yeah, there's something to be said for that. It does make me feel old because that's still young people stuff to me. But I think more important is if SGA wasn't on the cover, talk about getting robbed, right? NBA title, MVP, they can't not select him. I don't see how you're going to do that. I know you want to maybe have some new creative pick, surprise some people, but come on. It's a surprise that he is at the beginning of the last season. If you would have said he's going to be the MVP and NBA champion, that's a surprise. So, when he was coming off the Clippers onto OKC, I don't think people really knew where his career was headed. They knew he was a great player, but was he really going to lead this team to a title? He did. And so I don't see how else. I look at this, I don't play the games, but I look at those covers and I got to think that whoever is on the cover of that is an icon, and he's iconic at the moment for sure. And I hope he continues to play well and lives up to it. And I love also, by the way, a little plug for Canada. I love the fact that he is a foreign player because this league has players from all over the world in it, and it's nice to see that being represented here. But again, they couldn't avoid the pick, whether he was from Canada or again Kuwait or whatever other countries I want to reference tonight. It doesn't matter. He was the player to put on that cover, if you're asking me.
Well, Jack, Drew, we've been gamers for quite some time. But like, what do you just think of just those chosen, especially for Angel Reese as a first WNBA player?
Well, my honest opinion, I think Caitlin Clark should have honestly been the cover because she's had a bigger impact on, the WNBA. And when Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark got into it, that kind of honestly made her famous. And the thing about her is, like, she almost averages, I think, a double-double. But that's because she always gets her own rebounds when she misses a shot. So that's that. Now for SGA, I mean, this is probably the easiest choice of who you could have on the cover, quite possibly, of any 2K game to ever exist. He got MVP, he got Finals MVP. He had the perfect NBA season, and there's no clear debate about who it should have been, who should not have been. SGA deserves it, and that's just the clear answer.
True.
Yeah, I think SGA did. I always knew SGA had a phenomenal season all last year, and I felt like, but they had no choice but to choose him. I mean, he deserves it. Obviously, in the past, he just signed an extension with the OKC. And obviously, the season he just had was phenomenal to watch, and I think he deserves it. I mean, for Angel Reese, like Jack mentioned, it could have been Caitlin Clark because she brings all the attention, all the eyes, like it brings eyes to the league. So, and the league is growing every year. So, but yeah, and Carmelo is Carmelo.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one quick question. Since we got a WNBA athlete, like, how do you think over time we might get like a collab? Jack mentioned about Caitlin Clark. We could have a duo of that. Maybe throw in A'ja Wilson, who's like a long time WNBA player. Like, I just want your quick take. Do we see the growth of just female athletes beyond sports covers entirely? Anyone can chime in.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like in soccer you can have, like, I don't know, the best women's soccer player on FIFA video games. Like they could be anyone. Like Mallory Swanson. For USA women's national team. She could be on there, or Sophia Smith, or any of the best players on US or anyone in Europe. Like in that game, the women's soccer game is also growing too. So it could be anyone, and they could make a college version of women's softball. Like they do for men's football. They could do that. But I think women's sports is going to keep going, and I feel like they're going to provide more eyes and eventually put them in the video games.
Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I think women definitely deserve, like, being on the cover, and all that related to what Drew mentioned. But I mean, as long as you're well good and you're well known, I mean, yeah, I think that's everything Drew just said is pretty much a perfect example.
I mean, no, I know you're not a gamer, but let's just say just WNBA in general. Like, what do you see of just in that aspect, if you can?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. That league has been pushed a lot by ESPN on us.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I mean, it is. We have a lot of great women athletes out there. Women's sports is very competitive, especially basketball. So nothing negative to say there. But I know that ESPN bought into this WNBA early, and they've been pushing it on us real hard. So we're supposed to kind of see it at the same level as the NBA. And I'll try to tune in, but there's so much negative energy in the NBA right now because, like the fact that Angel Reese is on the cover and Caitlin Clark isn't is because the 2K people don't want the blowback from putting Caitlin Clark on the cover because she's somehow so hated within that league, which I can't understand. Why is she hated? Because she's really good. They don't like that. That's not the way it works in the NBA. Yeah, Steph Curry may be hated, but you're not getting he does get fouled hard, but he doesn't get abused and ripped apart and then get the refs going against him. So the WNBA has to work all that out because it's really bad on it right now the way it's going. And I don't know if there's a way they're going to fix that, but I'd love to watch it. But it to me, aside from me feeling like ESPN and Disney's trying to push it on me all the time, I'm also feeling like there's a lot of negative energy around that league right now. When they're not trying to protect their best player, they're actually trying to hurt their best player. So I don't get it. That's not the way that Steph Curry, I don't think he gets protected, but he's at least allowed to play the game by the rules. And the way it's going now with Caitlin Clark, she's getting fouled and they're not calling it. She's getting fouled, she's getting flagrants and they're not calling it. So I don't know. I try not to tune in, to be honest, at this point. So am I glad they put that on there? No, because SGA is an incredible athlete. If I'm going to look at a video game cover, I'll just look at him. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks for the people that are staying on. As you know, we have a lot of topics, just trying to crunch it all in. But we are at our final topic. We're going back to the MLB, and the Home Run Derby's around the corner. And we have some good contestants. We have 6 contestants, 2 from the NL Central, 1 of each in the AL. And pretty much to simplify, who you got. The participants are Acuna, Raleigh, Wood, Buxton, Cruz, and Gamanoro. Let me know if I pronounced that right. But yeah, just who you got. Anyone can chime in.
Raleigh from Seattle, man. He's just lighting it up, right? He's on hit a crazy number of homers this year. You think he'd like the guy with home field advantage, Acuna, but I don't think this is his year. He's just not hitting it in live games. He's not hitting it out that much, so I'm not sure he's got it. You'd think even at home, when he's doing batting practice like that, even if it's in front of a crowd, he's gonna hit him out and win this thing. But this guy Cal Raleigh seems like he's on fire and he's poised to win it.
Drew, Jack, what do you got?
Yeah, like Noel said, I think Cal Raleigh, he's just bombing home runs after another. He's bombing home runs that they trying to make him trying to beat Barry Bonds' record, before All-Star break, which is crazy, but it's kind of hard to do that. But as a catcher too, which is very impressive,
right? Yeah.
It's very impressive to do it as a catcher, which is kind of insane. Usually we see people who are hitting home runs like a DH or an outfielder, as a catch is insane. But just because you hit the most home run in the season doesn't mean you're guaranteed to win this home run derby. When we saw with maybe a couple of years when Shohei was leading the league in home runs, but guess what? He got knocked down the first round. Anything can happen in this home run derby. But yes, I want Cal Raleigh to win, but he could stumble because just because Acuna has home field advantage because he has all the crowds involved because it's in Atlanta. So, but yeah, he's doing well for sure.
Jack, I know you're a baseball fan. I know home run derby's your favorite event, but who you got?
Well, so far they've got 6 guys, and you need 8, so there's still 2 more to choose. But I'm gonna kind of go a little homer on this. I'm gonna go with James Wood, because the thing is, for when you're in the home run derby, you gotta do a swing and then you gotta reset, and you gotta do a swing and reset. Thing is though, Obviously, Cal is going to be the favorite in this because he's the clear guy, obviously, with 36 homers. But he's a catcher. And catchers, I know, usually have that winding throw when they get a pitch, they throw it back. The thing is, though, catchers aren't really known to be that fast. They're known to get more exhausted. And for me, James Wood, who plays for the Washington Nationals, he's 7th in the league in home runs with 24 homers. And he's an outfielder. Well, left fielder specifically. And the outfielders usually tend to move faster than most people in the infield, unless you're playing shortstop or second base, because those are the two fast positions in the infield. So I got James Wood. I think he can pull it off.
Good point. Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Great point, Jack. Well, for me, I might as well I'm not sure when was the last time a player from that team won in their own stadium, so I'm just going to roll with Acuna. I'm not sure. Let's see what happens, where my luck draws, but it happened in LA with Hernandez. So we'll see if that streak keeps going. All right, we got a couple comments. And, well, let's get a shout-out to our friend Jesse.
Yeah, shout out to Jesse. Hope you're doing better.
Yeah, hope you do better.
Thanks, Jesse. I'm holding down the fort for you. We'll see you next week. And shout out to Noel stepping in.
Shout out Noel for filling in.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Good job, Amon. Filling in for Jesse.
Shout out Amon for holding down for Jesse.
Good job, Mon. You're doing
good job, Amon.
very well.
He was well prepared, like he was nervous, but he took practice, he kept practicing. I want to say, he did a good job. I mean, people in the comments should tell Amon that he deserves his flowers, like he did a good job. I'm as proud as a friend, as a podcast member, I'm proud of him, faces his own comfort zone. So
yeah, definitely my comfort zone. But yeah, Pep Boys, I don't know what the take
it was for Jack. It was about Jack's take.
For Jack's take. Yeah. But yeah, time to close it out. But thank you for people that sticked around. There was a lot of topics. We crunched it all in. Make sure to tell a friend or a family member. But yeah.
Like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram at Around the Base Sports.
Thanks a lot, guys. That was fun.
Good night, everyone. Take it easy.
Thanks for watching, people. We'll see you on Monday.
Yeah, see you on Monday.
See you Monday. Watch the Home Run Derby Monday, too.
I'll be watching that and this podcast.
We'll do our reaction of the Home Run Derby on Monday's show, so...
All right,
check it out.
Thanks for watching. Chime a friend, family member. Every person is appreciated for joining. We're just four guys loving sports. Have a good one.